Let me mute your... How you doing? Welcome to Live Edge, episode number 2.
Hey.
You have to mute.
Sorry.
Live Edge number 2. Tonight we're going to be talking about finding balance, working plus family life plus building projects, especially if you're doing this as a business. First thing I want to do tonight, though, is give out some shout-outs to some people who sent out some gifts this week to us. We sincerely appreciate them. They're fantastic, too. Check this out. King's Fine Woodworking on YouTube. If you haven't seen him, there's a link in the description below to him and the one I'm going to shout out. He sent us Thor's hammer. Check that dude out. You want to talk about some fine craftsmanship. King's Fine Woodworking. He does awesome projects here on YouTube. Go check him out. I really appreciate this, Mr. King. Thank you. Also, McBee Custom Signs on Instagram. He's linked in the description also. Go check that dude out. Check that out. Hand-carved 731 Woodwork sign. Appling in there. It looks nice. It is nice.
Take that timer off.
Is the timer still on there?
Got a timer on there. He's trying to figure his timers out.
Oh, my goodness.
He doesn't know how to make them work. Hey, everyone. So glad to have all of you here. We have people from all over the place. Michigan, Georgia, Texas, Florida. Love seeing all that. That's awesome. Thank y'all for being here with us.
Also, if you notice in the background, we have a new Live Edge sign that we made this week. There's a video of that build. If you want to check that out, it's going to come out probably next week. We're also not going to release a video this Thursday because it's Christmas Eve. You need to spend time with your families. Don't worry about our videos. That's what I want you to do. So now let's get into the topic. If you're doing woodworking part-time as a business, if it's a hobby, it's a lot different because you don't have anything pressing you to build those things other than that's what you want to do. If it is a business and you've got orders pending, if you've got orders coming in, or you've got a trade show coming up or a craft show coming up and you need to make those projects, how do you balance working full-time, 40 hours a week, 50, 60, whatever you're working? How do you balance that plus spend time with your family plus do your woodworking projects? I think in our situation, we have benefited from our kids were older, so they could take care of themselves. We don't have little ones. And also, I work swing shifts a lot. So my schedule moves back and forth. And so sometimes I work at evenings, sometimes I work days. Depends on the month, depends on the day. I have different days off. A lot of times I'm off during the week when my wife is working. And so that helps a lot when you're trying to do a side business, because that's why I started. I was sitting at home and I was bored just watching computer all day or Netflix or whatever. And so I was like, man, I got to do something. And I wanted to make a little side money. And I had all that time on my hands where everybody else was at work or at school. And I was just here by myself.
Thank you, Bankstown Wood Shop.
Heck yeah, man. Thank you. And so it was a lot easier for me. So if somebody has young kids, what do they do?
And then I'll talk about the little ones. Were you ever able to look up that?
I haven't looked it up yet, but I will. Okay. I got that message.
So we were talking about the smaller kids earlier today about how to answer this question, because I think that's a big concern for a lot of people. You know, when our kids were little, it was impossible, it seemed, to do anything. So I don't know if there is a perfect solution for that when you've got those little ones. The only thing I would say is maybe set aside some personal time, maybe a date night, and let that date night be something that y'all can do in the wood shop. Maybe see if y'all can build something together, just to kind of...
That's if your spouse is on board.
Yeah, that's if your spouse is on board. If not, maybe do some type of balance to where you tell your wife or husband, you know, you watch the kids for 2 hours, let me go tinker in the wood shop, and then I'll watch the kids for 2 hours while you do something you enjoy. I don't know any other way to really do it, because you don't want to take time away from your kids. You don't want to, you know, run the chance of losing your job because you're not showing up or you're too tired. That's one of those deals that you're just going to have to start working it again a little at a time. Right. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day.
We will be taking questions after we get through the topic. If y'all want to hang around, just put 4 question marks in front of your questions when we start taking questions. So I think woodworking is probably one of the better side hustles for this year coming into 2021, especially with the way 2020 was, man. It was so crazy. So many of you guys were laid off or lost your jobs because of everything that's going on. And I've heard from dozens, if not hundreds of people. I get messages all the time that say, hey, I was laid off or I lost my job because of what's going on. And I started, but if that's what you're doing, or if you're just using it as your side hustle like us, it can take up a lot of time, like a lot of time. I know that when I was doing Etsy, like even last year, we were talking about how stressful it was coming into December, about 2 weeks before Christmas. The Etsy store was wearing us out.
Oh, it was terrible.
Because I'd go to work, whatever, no matter what I was working, days or whatever. And then when I got off, I talked about this last week, I was working 2 or 3 hours in the shop in the evenings. And then I would get up early, and my gym's out there. A lot of y'all know that. So between sets, I'd be pumping out the weights. Between sets, I'd be putting on clear coat. I mean, you just got to work it in, man. And if you really believe in what you're doing, if you believe that you're chasing the dream, that's your dream, that's what you want to do, you're passionate about it, you'll find the time for it. But don't sacrifice time with your family to the point to where it causes issues.
The main income that's supporting your
Right.
family. The Best Life put something on here, and we actually talked about this earlier today. They said, give the kids a 2x4 and a hammer and a bucket of nails.
That's right.
I had mentioned to him earlier today, and this is going to depend on the age of your children too. If they're young enough that you can put them in a little playpen or something, give them something that they can have fun with, as long as you can still watch them. It's not going to hurt anything as long as you're not putting them in a dangerous situation. If they're a little bit older, let them work with you. You can give them some safety goggles and tell them to stand back when you cut, but let them get up on a little step stool and watch you when you put a clear coat on.
Let them help you build that step stool.
Let them help you. That way you're still spending one-on-one time with your son or your daughter, but you're also out there working and building. And then it teaches them a good work ethic.
That's right. And it gives you good family time too, especially bonding time. I've tried to get our kids to go out there with us, and they have zero interest in it. And that's okay. I mean, we all have our different interests. Miss 731 has sanded tons of projects before, and at first she liked it.
I did. I loved it at first, but then I hated it. Oh my gosh.
Nobody likes sanding. After a little bit, everybody hates it. And
my gosh.
It just takes a lot of cooperation and a lot of support from your family if you're going to do this as a side hustle. That's what we're talking about. If it's a hobby, like I said, that's totally different because you can do that in your spare time. That's what hobbies are for. They're in your spare time. But if it's something you're chasing as a side business that you hope to grow to a full-time business like us, you're going to have to put the work in, and sacrifices will be made because there's only 24 hours in the day. That's it.
Gabriel, I don't know if I'm going to say your last name right. Gulber? Don't know if I'm saying that right. He said, what about the fumes and vapors with the little children? If you're not in a well-ventilated area and you can't safely protect them against that, then don't bring them out there.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You can get them dust masks and stuff for the dust, but paints, things like that, I wouldn't be having them out there. But like I said, there's only 24 hours in the day. You're going to sleep 6 to 8 of those, depending on how much you sleep. And so that's not going to leave much more time. I mean, you only have so much, and then you're going to be working probably most people with commutes 9 or 10 hours a day. So that is just every day is just you're looking at 6 to 9 hours per day that you actually have of your time. Well, some of that's going to be taken up with family time, getting the kids ready for bed, all that. I remember watching in awe of Gotwood Woodshop. You go check him out on Instagram. He's now Tools Today. He's taking it full time. We talked about him last week. And the reason I bring him up is this guy he had a full-time job in the daytime. He would get up at 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m., and was posting on Instagram. He was making projects, building that business. That was his sacrifice. He didn't sacrifice his family's time. He sacrificed his sleep for a certain amount of time until he was able to take that full time. And then whatever that means for you is taking it full time. I mean, it's just going to depend on your financial situation and how much you're bringing in, how much you project to bring in. It's all, I think, anytime you go into business for yourself as an entrepreneur, you're going to take risk. But hey, that's what life's about. You can't always live in the comfort bubble. You know, sometimes you have to take risks to get the gain. You got to risk it to get the biscuit, as they say.
Yeah. You know, and it's a lot different for us. We struggled in the beginning because I wanted to go back to college and finish my degree, and it was hard even doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So a side hustle, it seemed like such a far-fetched idea when he started it. And our kids had got old enough to where they could watch themselves at that time. But even then, it still seemed like there's no way that we would ever be able to have the time to do this and still see each other.
Yeah.
And when he was building the noodle boards constantly, I almost felt that way. I was like, man, I never see him. I would literally take my iPad and go sit in the wood shop. And
on the weight bench.
I would sit on the weight bench once he got it, and I would just sit out there and play on my iPad just so I could look at him. And I felt so bad because he worked all the time. And I think that a lot of times once you do find the time, getting started, you've got to put in a whole lot of effort to get it to take off.
It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time. And like I said, sacrifice. And because she supported it so much, I mean, I was able to do it. So if you don't have that support, if you have somebody that's against it, then that's going to be an issue that you need to work on, because that's going to cause problems. And the last thing you want to do is take a side hustle and put it between you and your spouse or you and your significant other, because is it really worth it? I mean, is it worth losing a relationship or damaging a relationship just to grow this or do woodworking or whatever your side hustle is? I don't think so. I think that if she told me today that this YouTube, woodworking and all, was coming between us, sorry, we'd be gone. I mean, I choose her, so there's a lot of times you just gotta, who are you going to put first, and who's going to be with you to the end. And that's what we're in it together. We have a common goal in mind. And I think that makes all the difference in the world when you have a single mindset.
Derek, Andrew, yes, he works on Sundays, in both in his regular job and in the woodworking now. As a matter of fact, once he started doing the YouTube channel a lot and doing a lot of this content creating, he works constantly. There's times where I will tell him, let's move to the bedroom and I'll watch TV and get on my laptop, just bring yours in there, work on your videos in there. And so we'll sit in the bedroom, I'm watching TV and he's working on his content. If I'm cooking, he's sitting at the bar in there working on his content creation. If I go to work and he's here, he's out recording or building. So yeah, he works Sundays both ways.
The video editing part, I've had some people comment on some videos that I've made, just the talking videos and advice videos. They don't like them. They want to see more project videos. I like making project videos. I love making project videos. I like making projects. The issue is, if I want to put out content twice a week, there's no way to do 2 projects a week, because project videos take 16, 18 hours each just to edit. If you take a 25-minute project, 25-minute video that's taken me a couple of days to build, and then you add in the 16 or 18 hours it's going to take to edit that thing down, music, graphics, the whole 9 yards, it takes a very long time. And while we still will be doing project videos, we have several coming up in the future. Miss 731 is trying to come up with a design for a coffee bar. You could use it for a kitchen island, probably. It's like a multi-use kitchen table. Not a kitchen table, but a bar height type table. And but anyway, she's going to design that, and we'll be building that in this upcoming week after Christmas, actually. And we've got small projects like this sign, things like that. But the video editing and the content creation takes more time than the actual building. I can get out there and build something in a day. An end table, coffee table. I mean, start to finish, 2 days with the painting or staining or whatever. I can do one of those in a couple of days. But if I'm making a video of that, I'm having to think about camera angles, having to explain things. It slows the process down a little bit, and then you have to edit that video, and so that adds a lot of time and a lot of extra time in there that you have to account for. And just, I'm very, very thankful and blessed that she's so supportive of this, and she's on board with this. As you've seen in the last couple of videos that she's made, she's getting into it too, and we're making this a joint business.
Yeah, if you, and I love what Tim Costello said. He said work-life harmony, not so much a balance, right, because a balance requires sacrificing one thing for another. Yeah, you do. You have to find that harmony. And if there's, here's the thing. If you're irritated, like on my side, if I was irritated because I felt like he was in the shop too much, if I had not said anything to him, that could have turned into a bad situation. But there would be times that I would go out there and I would say, I'm kind of tired of you being out here right now. I want to spend some time with you. I'm sick of you being out here. He would put everything down and come in the house and actually spend quality time with me. He wouldn't just put it down and come in frustrated. He would put it down. He would come in, he would sit with me, and we would spend some time together just talking. And then I would say, okay, you can go back out there if you need to now. But
and I'm glad she did that, because
it is a harmony.
You get laser focused on this stuff, and all you're thinking about is that next project. Got to build it, got to build it, got to build it. Or that order, you're trying to take that order and get that order, get that money. And then it turns into too much. You spread yourself way too thin.
Sometimes he would not even realize he had been out there for hours, because I would come out there and I would say, hey, it's supper's ready. And he's like, oh, what? It's that time already.
It goes fast.
Yeah, it does. It goes really fast.
If you're out there working hard, time goes by fast.
I'm going to interrupt for a minute. I've got a lot of people asking about my arm.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and give an update on that. I am doing much better. I've got my stem port in. I've not started my stem treatments yet, but everything is starting to feel a lot better. Still really sore, trying to take it easy. Not supposed to use this hand for anything that requires any type of movement or weight bearing, or can't turn the doorknob, anything like that. So it's frustrating for me because I'm not that kind of person that sits still.
Very independent.
Very independent person. But yes, I'm doing much better. I'm feeling much better. So thank y'all. Thank you.
We have comments about our shirts. We got these from Mardells.com. If you want Christian apparel, they've got Christian books, stuff like that. Mardells.com is where I got them. I got this one. She got that one. And so that's where we get a lot of our shirts from. Mardells, shieldsofstrength.com, and also Caruso.com.
Just be careful, because sometimes you have to size up at Mardells. It depends.
Yeah, it just depends on the shirt.
It's kind of...
Just read the reviews.
So someone had asked about selling to family or friends. Do you get badgered? Basically,
badgered?
They didn't use the word badgered, but do they kind of try
to
haggle you? Talk you down? Yeah. So
they want that family discount. Come on. They want that family discount. I mean, if you want to give it to them, ain't nothing wrong with that. They're family.
But
right?
if you're trying to, it was Stephen Borchers that said that. If you're trying to build a business, though, you don't want to just give everything away.
You can't give it away.
How would you handle that situation?
10, 15, 20% off of what you would normally charge. If you want to give a discount, if you're in business to make money and you can't afford that, just be honest with them. Say, hey, I want to make this project for you. It's going to cost me this. This is a materials cost. My time and labor is worth something, because if I'm not making it for you, then I'll be making a project for somebody else. And this is what the price is. So just, I think, being honest and upfront, and if you want to give them a discount, there ain't nothing wrong with that, if you can.
Coffee and Sawdust, work-life balance is organized chaos. Love that. Many, many years ago, when the kids were little, from 10 to 16 hours a day, and did side hustle on the weekends, you can make it work. I think that's it. I think you can actually make it work. You're going to have to figure things out. If you've got neighbors and they have kids, maybe talk to them and do some type of a barter treatment here. Say, if you will help and watch our kids for 2 or 3 hours a week, then
make a project for them.
We'll make a project for you, or something idea. Like that. Just try to barter. If you've got family, we were in the situation where we didn't really have a whole lot of babysitters that were available for us when our kids were little. It
was rare that we left our kids anywhere.
Yeah, I was pretty much I'm the mama bear. My daughter can tell you. Mackenzie's watching tonight, but she could tell you I'm the mama bear like crazy. And I just, thank you, Woodcraft 716.
Thank you, Woodcraft 716. That's awesome, man. Thank you for the super chat.
But yeah, I had a hard time with that. But you can, if it matters to you, figure something out. Maybe if you're the husband and you're wanting to get out there and work and your wife's tired because she works, tell her, say, look, I think that if I do this, it's going to give us some extra income and pay for us a vacation.
It has.
It has for us.
Man, I'm telling you, before I started woodworking, we were broke as a joke. It ain't even funny how broke we was. It's paycheck to paycheck. I started this woodworking on a little bit of extra money. It took a little while. It took a good, year and a half before it really started. I started seeing it because the first year and a half, all I was doing was making projects to buy tools to build more stuff with. And because I didn't have a table saw, I didn't have a miter saw, so it takes time to build that up. But once it starts coming, Uncle Sam going to get his cut. He going to get all his cut. But after that, it gave us a little pocket change. And so we was able to take some mini vacations, and I felt like I could actually take her and treat her on a vacation. I know we went to Long Beach, Mississippi.
We went to New Orleans.
And we went to New Orleans, and so we were able to travel more.
Thank you.
Because of this.
Salinas?
And so.
Michelle, maybe?
This woodworking has opened up doors that I could never have imagined when I started it in 2017.
I think that was one of the changing points for me too. And Steve B, our kids are 18, 22, and 23 right now. They're grown.
But still at home.
Two of them. The two youngest. But I think that was a turning point for me because that's when I was like, holy crap, he's actually making some money at this. And so when I saw that he was making money, and for him, he loved it. That's when I was like, I really need to support it.
Up until last year on the Etsy store when I was building the same thing over and over and over. I did not get into woodworking for that. I like building unique projects. We talked about that last week. I prefer to make different things. And if I'm making the same, I don't mind making one or two of the same thing over a period of time. But if it's every day that I'm building the same thing,
Tim Costello.
I don't like that. It just gets monotonous. You might as well be working in an assembly line somewhere because that's what it's like. If you enjoy making that kind of stuff, if you enjoy making cutting boards, things like that, there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't like the hustle of the Etsy, and they was wearing me out. It was good money, really good money, if you're able to keep up with it. And if I could figure it out a batch system to where, because those were custom. They were custom. You had to build every one the exact same or to the size the customer was wanting.
Specific size and colors.
If I had found a way, or if there was a way to batch those things out to where they were a certain size, it probably wouldn't have been that bad.
Trina Perez Guerrero, we were not selling on Etsy from the beginning. That came a little bit later.
Yeah, I started that. I actually started it, I don't remember, 2018 maybe. I got an Etsy video. You can go watch that, and you can see how long it took. And it tells exactly how I did it and how I got those sales to bump. And it's all about buying those ads. I got one or two sales here or there, one or two a month, until I started buying $3 a day ads, $5 a day ads. I think, was it 5 the biggest I got, or 7 was the most I ever spent per day on ads, and I couldn't keep up.
I think you moved it up to 7 once and moved it right back.
Yeah, because I could not keep up. I was getting so many orders. And all the ad does is put your listing to the top of the page, the first page, so that when it's just like Google AdSense or whatever.
But we are that family that we cook every day. We clean our own house. We take care of our kids. We go to everything that they have. We spend time together, and we spend a lot of time with our dogs. So we were having to do all of that, and the noodle boards were becoming more of it became less of something enjoyable for him, and he felt like
it was another job.
Yeah, he felt like he was on an assembly line that he couldn't get caught up on. And that's not what he started out. He started out doing this because it was his hobby and he enjoyed it. And it got to the point where he wasn't enjoying those as much, I think because it was taking him away. And that's where we had to step back and talk about that harmony again and balance again, because that's what was happening.
And you have to consistently talk about that.
Thank you, Steve B.
I will get bad about, like I said, I get obsessed with it and get focused on it. And then that's where she's my better half and says, hey, you're working too much. You need to take a break.
Yeah, he's got that obsessive personality. It's good because, like, with his working out and eating healthy, he's he's one of those people that he's so you just do so good at it. I'm always so proud of you for the way
I'm obsessive about things.
You are, and I'm obsessive about things in a different way. But sometimes I do have to tell him. I'm like, hey, babe,
you take a break.
I miss you.
You can spread yourself too thin,
Yeah.
and it's not healthy either. And that's one thing is, if you're doing too much, you'll overdo it. I know as men, especially, we think we can do it all. I'm getting up at 4 a.m. That's usually my time to get up. Get my workout in, come in, take a shower, eat breakfast, go to work. And then when I get off work, I come home, work on videos or work on projects or whatever. And then after supper, we pretty much watch TV together or whatever. And then next day do it all again. And so it's easy to get caught in that loop to where you're up at 4, 5 a.m., whatever time you get up, and then stay up till 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night trying to work on things. And that's just, it's not a healthy thing. You're not getting enough sleep, and your body's going to crash.
I teach, and so up until the pandemic hit, I was doing after-school tutoring until 5:30 every day. And then I would come home and cook, or he would put something on in the crock pot, or, we would try to balance it some way. And once I figured out that this was something we really wanted to do, and then my arm injury happened, and I've had to step back on so many things, I've cut that out, and don't plan on going back to that, anytime soon. Of course, this is preventing me from doing anything, but you just kind of have to, it's a song and dance, and you have to figure out the steps sometimes.
Shap 1776 asked earlier, I read it and I want to answer him. He asked about, he was getting so many orders, should he go up on his prices?
Guy Bowers has a question about
I think
price too.
If you're getting a lot of orders for the same thing, there's nothing wrong with going up on the orders. I did that with the stove covers. I was getting a bunch of orders, bam, bam, bam. I was like, I'm selling these things too cheap. Supply and demand. I mean, it's capitalism. I mean, if you think you can make a little more money, I'm not telling you to cheat people, but if you can make a little more money,
Yeah, don't be unfair.
nothing wrong with bumping it up. Hey, the market's going to decide what it's worth. If you bump it up $10 and nobody's buying it, and they were buying it $10 cheaper, then you know where your price should have been at. So all you got to do is lower it back down.
Guy Bowers wants to know how you determine the price to sell a project.
I price them way too low.
He really does.
I will usually say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'll say, I'm thinking this price. And she's like, we got a pricing video, actually. Go watch that. Because that tells exactly how we price things. Usually I think this is worth $100. I got $25, $50, $75 in materials, whatever. Let's say it's $50 in materials. I say, hey, I think I'm going to sell this for $100. She's like, well, how long is it going to take you to make it? I'm like, I don't know, about 6 hours. She's like, no, you're not making any money. Time you put your glue, screws, supplies, all that stuff, you need to up that to $150 or whatever the price is. So we kind of bounce off each other what we're pricing things.
And, for him, a lot of times, I know you've said this in a video before, it doesn't hurt to sell it lower than you think it's actually going to be worth the first time. Because you're getting that experience to build it. You're having to work out all the kinks in it. So, I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, I built that dog kennel. It's one of my most popular videos now. I sold it for $350, and when I was done with it, I was like, why did I sell this thing so cheap? I mean,
and we did not put our dog in that, by the way.
Yeah, I get a bunch of crazy comments about that.
Our big dog, Zeus, he passed away actually 1 year tomorrow.
I've been a law enforcement officer for 12 years, Stephen.
Delco, his wife is a teacher too. Yes, this has been one crazy year. The blended learning can be nuts. It was the worst time for me to have to go out with surgery, but I'm so excited to go back to work next year, Lord willing. In January, as soon as school starts back, I should be able to go back.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways of pricing materials. That pricing video we've got covers those, what most people talk about, material times whatever, or material plus labor. They charge per hour. There's a lot of ways to price that material or price your projects, and there's no wrong way to do it if you're making a little money and you're not out anything. I mean, if you go to make a project and then you owe the customer when they come pick it up, you're doing something wrong. I mean, if you're doing this for a business, if you're doing it as a side hustle or as a hobby, and you just want to gift somebody something, that's you're not in business at that point. You're just doing it as a hobby, and you're being very generous, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it for a business and you're making money, It's no different than Walmart or whatever retail store you can think of. They're in business to make money. I mean, some products they have are going to be less and some are going to be more. You can go into any furniture store and you're going to find high-end furniture and low-end furniture. So, I mean, if you can offer different projects at different prices if you want to kind of spread your projects out. But, I mean, there's tons of ways to price items. We got to go check that pricing video out.
Alex LeBlanc, when did you make the business official in the government eyes?
Day one. I mean, 2017.
I used to do the accounting part for my dad when he owned his own trucking business back when I was young. And so I started doing taxes and things like
Here's
that
the deal.
at 15.
I didn't want to lose my full-time job over a little bit of pocket change.
Yes.
And so we report every dollar that we make and every expenditure that we got. We keep up with it. And we've done that from day one, from the day I started making the dollar. You can file as a sole proprietor, and you don't have to actually form an official business. You can still file as a sole proprietor. I'm not a tax lawyer, so don't. I mean, this is just what I'm doing. You do what you want to do, and but you can do that. But be honest and report your income, because it's not worth it. I mean, if they wind up coming back and auditing you, then you're going to owe them a bunch of money anyway. So.
Mitch M., we've actually started using a lot of our house too. I'm so sorry to hear about that. But that is a good use for your empty rooms. You could have a project room, a showroom. You could do all kinds of stuff. But we've actually, this section that we're in right now is in our bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Our bed's right there.
Yeah, our bed's over there. Actually, we have a mattress on the floor. That's what we sleep on, because after our dog broke her leg jumping off our bed, we got rid of the bed.
We're going to build a bed, though.
We are going to build a bed, but not until she's completely recovered, 110%. Our dogs are our babies, if you hadn't figured out by now.
Little Greyhound, if you hadn't seen the pictures on my Instagram, you can go back and look where she broke her little leg. It was awful. That was bad.
And then, where'd it go? Thank y'all for saying that you love the channel.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We were worried about this live stream. If y'all like this, we like it because we love doing it.
And I love
it's
that y'all are talking
engaging
to each other.
You guys, and that we're building this community together. I think it's awesome.
Y'all are helping each other out and answering each other. I love that. Justin Berg is a band director who is starting to do this as a little side hustle too. So
I've heard from a lot of the last couple of weeks. I've heard from multiple people who are in the healthcare, nurses, and things like that, education fields, and police officers, firefighters. They usually work those swing shifts, and they have a lot of time on their hands. A lot of military guys or not just guys, but people reaching out telling me that they're doing this as a side hustle. A lot of people wanting to take this full time, which I think is fantastic if you can do it. That if you're going to take it full time, diversify. You need multiple streams of income coming in
definitely.
Too. And that's why I advise you guys, if you can put yourself out there, put yourself in front of that camera, start that YouTube channel. It may take 3-4 years to get it going, to actually start bringing in income, but you can share your knowledge with people. You can learn a new deal. It's a lot of work, but it pays off in the end if you just get out there and put yourself out there. And the first 50, 7,500 videos are going to be terrible, and unless you're just a professional already. I mean, we're still learning every day, and it takes time to get in front of the camera. I mean, you saw at the beginning of the stream, I left the countdown timer up. Big dummy.
No. Nick wants to know if you like the walrus oil.
I have not used... Did I use walrus oil?
I don't know.
No, I use Watco. I love that Odie's oil. That's what's on that. That's what's on that sign right there. We use Odie's oil on that
Mark
Live Edge
Hildebrand
sign.
said he likes it.
Thank you.
Idea, our Live Edge.
That was her idea. She come up with the name for the show, Live Edge, and then she come up with the Live Edge sign.
Call the Greek videos said 731 Woodworks Discord coming soon.
Hey, we have a Discord.
Tim Costello is an Amazon senior manager. That is super cool.
Awesome. That is awesome.
We order from Amazon all the time.
Y'all get a bunch of my money.
Oh my gosh.
But I am an Amazon affiliate, so it comes back a little bit, 2 to 3%.
Someone had asked earlier in the show, and I meant to get back to it. I don't remember who asked, but it was whether or not you use white or off-white on your builds.
It's 6112 Biscuit White. That's the code number is 6112. I've heard a lot of people say when they come to me or send me a message, they'll say, this doesn't look very white. It looks more of a yellowish. It is a biscuit white. It's an antique white. It's that bone. Off-white.
Actually, our TV stand that he built that's got the biscuit white distress with the dark brown undertone, that is getting ready to be repainted. I'm redoing all of the furniture in our living room area. I've just redone all of our our throw rugs and our curtains and all of that. So we'll do something on that too.
Do I get hit up with sponsorships? Daily. We get, but they're not sponsorships we want to take. And so I get those foreign companies that don't speak English, and they'll email me and ask me to do their product and with a little picture of their power tool with no name on it, stuff like that. I'm not getting into all that. It's not worth it for me. I've had companies reach out wanting me to take their product and do a video, and I decline it sometimes. Other than that Delta, I've declined a bunch of them because it's all positive for them, and I get nothing but work out of the deal. I have to work to make the videos, and I get a tool sometimes that they're offering.
And sometimes the tool is not something that's going to benefit
or
your
something
work.
I don't want or I don't need. And I'll tell them I'm not excited about that. And if I'm not excited about it, it's going to come across on camera. When I got that Delta Cruiser, I was excited about that. I think it come across on camera, and it was a cool tool. I liked it.
Talking about coming across on camera, Coffee and Sawdust asked, how do you get the nerve to post your very first YouTube video, to step in front? I just did my first one
she
a
did.
few weeks ago, but I wasn't
Practice,
nervous.
And I started a YouTube channel called Monitoring Reviews before this one, and it's all about radio scanners. I know I'm a giant nerd, and so I was into radio scanners for a long time. I actually got in good with Uniden and was a beta tester for them, so they were sending me their new units to test. And I was and if you'll go watch that channel, you don't have to, but if you do, Monitoring Reviews, I wouldn't get on camera. I would put the radio in front of the camera, and I would stand behind the camera. And sometimes I would talk, but the first several videos, I wasn't even talking. I was just showing I just had a video of it, and people were complaining, like, what are you doing? I mean, it just takes time. It's like lifting weights or running or public speaking or whatever you're going to do. You got to practice, and the more you practice, the better you get. It's just repetition. That's all you get. I mean, it's the only way you're going to do it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think, last week we had talked about how this has made you grow as a person. I think doing that repetition, becoming more comfortable in front of the camera, that's made it easier for you in your regular job too. Because I've had them actually come and speak to my students before, and a long time ago, he was really nervous about doing that.
Man, she put me in front of a whole group of 8th graders, 7th and 8th grader. I couldn't even speak. My voice was shaking so bad.
He did really well. He did better than he thinks.
I don't like being in front of a crowd. If I'm looking out, right now I'm looking at a camera lens. If I'm looking out and I'm seeing however many people are out there now looking at me, it's a whole different dynamic.
See, I'm watching.
Yeah.
Josh S. wants to know, he asked a question. No, we have not actually covered this today. He said, do you recommend having a small inventory of popular projects or build as they come in?
If you got a project that's selling and you can batch it out, yes, and you have a place to keep it. That's how I started. I would make a project and post for sale, make a project, post for sale. And at one time, before I filled the garage up full of tools and other stuff, I would keep things in there for sale, and I would post them for sale in different places, and they would just sit in there to sell. And sometimes they sit there for a while, and sometimes they didn't.
That was one of the problems with it, is if you build too much, especially if it's a bigger project,
furniture type items, then it's going to sit there for a while.
For us, that was a problem because we didn't have a large place to store anything. I mean, we're already working within the confinements of a smaller house anyway. And then Graf Woodshop says that he's about to start a YouTube channel. What advice do you have for getting a new channel started?
Post. Tell you what I would do if I was starting a new channel. I would make searchable content, how to, whatever you're good at, how to build a bench, how to paint a bench, those how-to searchable terms. As a new channel, you're not gonna get suggested beside other videos. You have to get that search traffic, and the only way to get ranked in search is to build an authority in that area, whether it's woodworking, sewing, cooking. So I've been on her to start her own cooking channel.
I love to cook and bake.
If she was to start her cooking channel, that's how we would do it. We would start out with searchable content and make 2 videos a week, even if they were 2 to 4 minute long. And if I was new, I would do YouTube Shorts. And if you go look up some video on YouTube Shorts, it's vertical video like Instagram video, but in the title you put hashtag shorts, and they have to be 58 seconds or less. If you can tell a pretty good story or a hook in 58 seconds, vertical video, hashtag shorts in the title, some of those videos, because there's not many people doing it, some of the goofiest videos are driving millions of views right now. And the reason I haven't done it is because it's vertical. All my other videos are horizontal, so I'm not sure how that would resonate with you guys. So I hadn't done any shorts.
Everything rusted with Brian. Do you use anything for extra lighting in your videos?
Yes, just now. Starting this live stream, we bought this audio setup and then GVM, great video maker, lights. Hey.
Thank you,
Fintertainment. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. They were like $200, I think, for the light setup, and they'll do colors and all that stuff. Last week we had the blue light behind us. One of those was one of those lights. This week we decided to go with just regular lighting, white lighting, because the blue we felt like was washing things out in the back. You tell us if you like it or not. But those are a couple $100. But what took my videos, I think, made them start looking better in the shop was I bought some lights off of Amazon. You can go check that video out where I put them in. They were like $100 for 6 of them, and it made the lighting out there for me to work out there much better.
Crazy.
And the videos look so much better.
Yeah.
Good lighting.
Did you see what Fintertainment said?
I have not.
Made a dresser about 7 weeks back. Ran his thumb in the table saw.
Oh.
So glad that you're able to still do a thumbs up. Thank you. Praying for a full recovery on that. Oh, wow.
It can happen quick, too. It can happen so fast. I'm so thankful that so far I've still got all mine. It's like it can happen, well, for one, when you get tired, when you're in a hurry, that's when the bad things happen. So you just got to try to watch that.
Someone had...
Been in Arkansas, John
Oh,
Burke.
here it is. Derek Andrew asked, has the side job helped or hindered our spiritual life?
I think it's helped. I think it's helped.
Big time.
Man, it's just so...
It's almost hard to explain it because...
It's humbling.
It is.
How much this channel and the woodworking business has changed our lives.
But...
And it's just... We've grown closer doing it. Yeah, it's changed me.
It changed him, and I started seeing... I mean, we've always had a great relationship anyway. He's better than I'll ever deserve, I promise.
She's a good one.
But I started seeing something so different about him, and I started feeling... it's really hard to explain, but I saw it and I felt it, and it made me want to grow in that way too. And Brother Riv, you know, you've done you were doing a study with him until my arm, but
Circle Maker, good book. Go watch.
Yeah, we read the Bible together every night, pray together. We pray over the Woodworking channel now. We got that from the Circle Maker.
That's right. Pray circles.
You pray circles.
There was a question I wanted to answer. Where'd it go? What kind of camera do I use? It's linked in the description of this video, or all of my videos actually. It's a Canon M50. It's about $600-700. I saved up for a while before I bought it. I was really worried about the dust getting in there because it's not weather sealed, but I've had it for a couple years and it's not had any problems yet.
Mark Hildebrand says, how do you get over the fear of someone not liking what you made? When I get asked to make something for someone, I get super nervous every time.
I still do.
Every
time. To this day, when somebody comes to get something, we don't deliver much, usually locally, and there's only one person, two people we ever deliver to, but delivery or when they come to pick it up, I'm nervous as a cat on a tin roof before they get here. And I'm worried they're not going to like it. I'm worried. But it's the same thing putting these videos out.
But I've encouraged him on bigger projects to send progress pictures to your buyer and say, hey, this is what it's looking like right now. And that way it tells them you're still working on it, you're thinking of it, you've not forgot about it, but it also lets them become part of the process. And we've had people before say, you know what, now that you've got it right there, I want to make this change to it. And we've been able to make changes because
it's a lot easier to make it.
Yeah.
In the process versus they come and say, I want a different color. So yeah, and I've shared that in a previous video about sharing progress pictures with your customers. Just good customer.
Charm421, when can we expect 731 TikToks? Our daughter has been on us
I have a TikTok
constantly
account
to do it.
but I've not posted any TikToks.
I see my students do these almost daily.
I'm not a dancer, so. Well, I like to see the Go Mufasa ones. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't.
They're fantastic.
Oh, I tell you what, whenever my arm is completely healed, I'll make them get on there and start dancing on some TikToks. Oh my goodness, where are all the places that you would advertise? Robert Miles asked that. Where would you advertise your projects for sale?
I advertised on Etsy. And that's really one of the only places I've ever paid for advertising, because I had done a bunch of research and had heard that it worked, or read that it worked, saw videos that it actually worked. And so $3 a day, $5 a day, if you're selling a project for $130, which is what those stove covers were minus shipping. I mean, shipping was included, so you got to eat that. But $3, if you're making 2 or 3 sales a day, which we were, then no, sometimes it's 2-3 days. It was like 7 or 8 a week on average until it got closer to Christmas time. Then it was like several a day. But those ads work because it puts your listing first, and people see it. And most people, it's just like when you go Google something, you're not going to the 4th page of Google to see what the result is. You Google it, usually it's the top answer. Same thing on YouTube. You search for the video, first couple 3 or 4 videos, that's the ones you're going to watch. Unless you're really researching a topic or looking for ideas, you're not going to dig down a whole long way. So
Justin Berg asked, do you wear a silicone wedding ring for fear of it getting caught on something?
No. I got the silicone wedding ring because the barbell on a metal band mashed the metal band into my finger when I was doing deadlifts or bench press or even squats. So that's why I got silicone band. But it is convenient. This is the Groove band. And so they'll actually, is it Groove? No, I got this on Amazon. Never mind.
Yeah, but you do have
It'll
Groove
break.
bands.
It'll break them.
FTN Irish 74, do you ever make a prototype before you make a video for that build?
Typically not. That's why there are always mistakes in there. We're just winging it. I'm telling you, man. She comes up with a picture. She said, can you make, she don't even say, can you make it? She's like, I want this. And I'm like, I don't know if I can make that.
He
She's
says
like,
that every time.
And she says, we're making it. And so we make it. And so sometimes it works and sometimes it works out. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? I mean, Lord willing, you don't get hurt. The worst thing is happen, you're just going to make a fire with it, because if you mess it up, it's like she says, if it's made of wood, it's not set in stone.
Yeah, and if you're making it, if you're making a video for it, you're not live on that. So you don't have to use that. Barry says, what do you think of the screws that come with the Rockler Z clips?
They work pretty good.
He says that he ends up using longer outdoor screws when possible because they seem a bit short and don't screw in so good.
I use them mainly because it's usually either a 1x. If it's a 1x, I'm certainly using them. If it's a 2x, they seem okay. They're not the greatest, but they work all right.
Angie Williams says that she likes the mistakes being shown. Thank you.
We show a bunch of them.
Well, life's not perfect. Mistakes are part of everyday life and everything that we do. I tell my students all the time that if they can find where I made a mistake on a test or a paper, I give them an assignment, I give them bonus points for it, because that means that they know what they're looking for and they found one of my mistakes. And so mistakes are just part of life.
Do I have a favorite woodworking tool? I love that table saw.
Grand Legacy, yes.
I think that a good table saw is a game changer for any woodworker, because before that I couldn't make good tabletops. There was a bunch of stuff that I was
so excited to get that too.
Man, I was because I had wanted that for so long.
Yeah.
And I wasn't willing to. I didn't want to buy a contractor saw because the rip fence wasn't wide enough. Usually those are like 24, 26 inches. I wanted that 30, 32 inch rip. So it's a game changer for a woodworker.
Your brother in Christ says corded or cordless for a circular saw.
Cordless.
Who's looking at getting one after
I would
Christmas.
get cordless anything hand tool wise. I'm still using the old borrowed circular saw with a cord on it. But yes, when that one goes out, I'll get a cordless because nobody want to rag that cord around everywhere.
Lincoln Souza, do you have issues with neighbors because of the tools noise? No, we don't have. We've got great neighbors. First of all,
If they don't like it, they haven't said nothing.
Super close neighbors, but they've never seemed to say anything. Now, when he's making videos or something in the garage sometimes, and one of the neighbors is mowing, then he gets irritated because he has to start over. But I mean, that's part of everyday life. So
Woodcraft 716, yes,
funny.
I edit all my videos. That's probably why they're terrible. Jason Garrett, do you still coach for the Cowboys? I'm just playing.
Brendan says showing the mistakes makes the projects more approachable. And Jason says when you show mistakes and show how to fix it, it helps. I think both of those, it's absolutely right, because somebody else may run into that same problem.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
You know?
And Mitch M says he's afraid of kickback. I hate kickback. It hurts. I had a board kickback on that original table saw I had. It was that old thing, man. You could not get the fence square on it. It was rickety and raggedy. So that's why I never used it. But I was trying to rip some 2x4s one time. 2x4. And it kicked back. And man, that board hit me right in the side of the stomach. It hurt, doubled me over. I was purple and green right there. The thing hurt.
That scared me. Wookie Fever 1969 says, how much time outside of your day job does it take to complete your videos or orders per week?
Man, right now I'm spending a bunch of time on these videos.
A lot.
I mean, because we're trying to put out 2 a week because we want the channel to sustain itself. And I like seeing the channel grow, and I enjoy making the content. And so we're trying to take a full-time approach to this. And so it's taking full-time hours. I mean,
and he stops. You know, we're talking about balancing tonight. He stops sometimes and looks at me and says, hey, do you want me to stop doing this and come in to help you? Because I'll
say, she'll be over cooking. I'll say, hey, what do you want me to do?
And I'll always say, sit over there and look pretty. That's my favorite thing. He sits over there and he looks so pretty. But yeah, it's just it takes a whole lot of time. But I think because we both want the same thing so bad, I want him to succeed with this. First of all, I think he's got so much to offer. And I think that's evidenced by what's happening. But I love seeing the light in him when it comes to this.
That's just
this
the
channel. That's all the extra lighting. So yeah, it does take a whole lot, and you know, because he does do all of his own editing, it takes a lot of time.
And I'm learning on the editing things. I mean, if you go back and look, there's a coffee table video I made, and the music overpowered the voice. And the reason that is I was editing on an iPad. I'm not trying to make too many excuses, but I was editing on an iPad, and the little app that I was using to edit, it wasn't iMovie, it was like LumaFusion or something. When I exported, I didn't realize the audio was that bad off until the video was live, and at that point didn't want to delete the video, and then I should have. But
the hardest thing for him is finding the thumbnail.
Man, I hate making thumbnails.
Oh my gosh!
Because if people don't click on that video, it don't get watched.
This is a sore subject.
It is, because click-through rate and watch time on a YouTube video is what makes or breaks the video. It doesn't matter how good the video is. It could be the most awesome video you've ever created in the history of creation, and if they don't click on it, you don't get the view. He's
very passionate about this part, if you can't tell. So we're going to switch to something else. Tim Kozak says, what is the one tool you would love to have?
What is all?
You're asking me? See, you got to quit doing this.
For the projects I'm making, I have everything I need. We've talked about some CNCs, and we get back to sponsorship. I had a company reach out to me, to be left unnamed, who wanted to send me a CNC. And it was like a $6,000 thing, and I didn't take it. We went over this quite a bit, back and forth with each other, and just decided not to take it at that time. This was about 3 months ago. And the reason I decided not to take it was a couple of reasons. They wanted like 18 videos was it that many? 12 videos over the course of 18 months. And that's a lot of time commitment to a video of something I have no idea how to work. And I was going to have to learn the software. I was going to have to learn how to make it. I didn't know what I was going to make with it. And as a incentive, I was going to get a commission. And it was an extremely low commission rate. Like, it was not a good deal for us. It was us putting in all the work, to promote their
The
product.
timing of it.
And the timing
The
was
timing
bad.
just wasn't right
And the
for
timing
the
was bad.
time. Seth DeMar said that his wife has started watching the videos, went nuts over our stovetop cover and the other projects. He's going to be busy. Tell her to check out the one that's the extra distressed. If she hasn't looked at that one, I don't know where he's got it.
Probably
at.
on Instagram.
That one
way
was
back.
kind of a mistake, but it was a perfect mistake.
Mackenzie
Mackenzie
McLean, come
McLean
on.
wants to know what your favorite song to rock out to while building. This is a good question.
Hey, I like some Mercy Me. I like Metallica.
He puts on a show out there.
I serenade my woodwork.
You can pull into our neighborhood and hear him singing because he's got his earbuds in and he is rocking out to a song and singing it over the sander, over the saw, over everything.
If I could sing, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
It is awesome.
I sound like the elf.
He puts on a show though.
I'm in a star. I'm singing.
Oh my gosh. What kind of table saw do you own?
It's
Ernesto
the
Rivera.
Delta 36-725. They don't make it anymore. They have the T2 730 or 36725 T2 now. It's an excellent saw for the money. It was like $600 for the money. It's going to be hard to find a better saw. I bought the Rigid originally, the one that's similar to it. The tabletop was warped. The actual cast iron was warped. I had to take it back. And when I took it back, I was like, man, I won't take no chance. So I just went ahead and got the Delta. And I've been extremely pleased with that saw.
Hustlin' 3, we actually decided to do something different this year for Christmas. Our kids are all older. They all have jobs. They all earned a free education to college.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah. And so, there's really nothing that's materialistic that this year has just been so crazy. And so we talked to them and we said, okay, I can't cook my normal meal because of this. So we sat down and we all talked together and decided that we did not want to we were going to do Dirty Santa, but then they decided instead of doing that, they wanted us to sit and play games all day. We're going to have one of those nacho tables where you put
for Christmas.
Where you put the aluminum foil on the table and fold it up and you just pour chips everywhere. We'll post pictures. So we're not doing any Christmas gifts at all. We're just going to spend time together, spend the day together, talk about what it is, and just be with each other. And I mean, we
just
honestly
spend time.
Didn't do a single gift. The kids didn't want any. We never do Christmas gifts for each other, really. We more or less just kind of pick something out, and the other one knows about it. Merry Christmas
likes
to
nachos.
you, Leslie
That's why I got
Rawson.
excited about nachos. Everybody like nachos. Any one of y'all comment now if you don't like a nacho. Everybody likes nachos. You know you like them.
He's nuts. Lee Willman said, "What kind of earbuds do you use? Are they noise canceling?"
Yeah, well, they are. They're not noise canceling. They're noise isolating, as they put it. But they're what are those things? Beats Pro, Power Beats Pro. Power Beats Pro. I use them for working out, which is why I bought them, because you can run in them. You can do burpees. I hate burpees. You can do all that kind of stuff, moving, all that stuff, and they don't move, but they go inside the ear, so they isolate the sound outside, and they work really good for sanding, sawing, stuff like that. You see in some of my videos, I've got them kind of hanging on there. Put those things in there and the music going, and you barely hear that sander or that saw.
Oh, Call the Greek videos, come on. You want to join our nacho table? You are more than welcome. There will be plenty. I'm doing homemade chili. The youngest son, he loves my homemade chili. So we're going to do a chili cheese nacho table, and we always do a whole lot of extra toppings that you can add to it. And we've only ever done it one other time, but it was a lot of fun. I had so much fun doing that.
Somebody asked if I'd trade the Delta for a Sawstop for safety reasons. Yeah.
Rock.
But for the price, man, I know they got the market corner on that thing, but man, they're so expensive. I mean, I don't know. I'm the type that's a little more generous than business-wise. And so I understand what they're doing. They've got the market cornered. But if you have a product that can save thousands of hands every year, why are you holding on to that? I mean, you sell the patent to other companies and let them have it too. It's such a remarkable product. They've got the market cornered. It's capitalism. I know. But I don't know. I got mixed feelings about it.
Woodcraft 716. Dirty Santa is basically where you are stealing a gift from someone else and you only get so many tries. Look it up. There's a whole lot of rules to it, but it's a lot of fun.
Especially if there's a crappy gift in there nobody wants.
Yeah. It's always best if you can have like one or two mediocre gifts and then the rest are really great. But it's a lot of fun. Let's just do one more question. And
next project coming up in 2021. Coffee bar. She's got a coffee bar she's supposed to be designing. And then we're going to start on that. We're actually going to start on it the 26th, I think, the day after Christmas, and hope to have that video out sometime in January. And then after that, we got some beds to make, maybe a platform bed for our son.
Yeah.
And then we've got a bed to make after the pup is fully healed and we
I don't
have any danger
I don't
of
want
her
us to make
breaking
our
it again.
bed until the vet has completely cleared her and she's through with rehab. Thank y'all for all of your comments about the shirts, about us. We do have a whole lot of fun doing this.
I love it.
Yeah. You know what time it is.
Power tip time.
Tonight's power tip is basically one word, and we'll explain it. But the one word is grace. Grace. That is, if 2020 has not taught us anything else, it has taught us to have grace. Forgive yourself. If you are trying to do a side hustle and you're also trying to balance kids and a spouse and a full-time job and doing all of those things, and not only that, you may have a parent that you're helping with or a sibling that you have to help with, or nieces and nephews, or other commitments that you're having to help with. Give yourself grace. You can't do it all. If you see that you've missed something or you've slacked somewhere in your mind, give yourself grace. Forgive yourself. If your wife is frustrated or your husband is frustrated and you want to get mad at them, instead of getting mad, give them grace. If your kids are irritated and they've made a horrendous mess in your house while you've tried to go out there and work for an hour, give them grace. It's okay. It can be cleaned up. At the end of the day, as long as you're a team, as long as you're working for the right reasons,
teamwork made the dream work.
Then that's all that matters. So that was my power tip for you, just to have grace.
And I'll add on to that is Ephesians 5:22. You read that and it says, "Wives, submit to your own husbands as you do to the Lord." And as men, we stop right there. We're like, you're supposed to submit. But if you read on down, it does say in verse 25, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." So if you read that and you believe that, then you know that you're supposed to give yourself up for her. Your needs come second. And that's why I like those. I've seen those bracelets. They've actually got rings now. I'm actually thought about ordering one that says "I am second." And if you put yourself second, and I have a bad problem with this where I don't. And usually when we get into an argument, and we do argue from time to time, not very often, but usually when that happens, 99 out of 100 times, it's because I was being selfish about what I wanted or what I thought I needed to do. And she's just asking me to hang a curtain. And I'm thinking I need to build this or do this or whatever.
Okay, just because I've asked you to hang curtains for 2 days.
I hadn't said nothing about those yet, till now.
I'm going to give you grace on that.
But if you put your spouse first, it doesn't matter if you're the man or the woman, if you're boyfriend, girlfriend, father, son, if you put someone else
to each other
first before yourself, the relationship will be like nothing you've ever seen. And I'm actually speaking to myself here. So it's just, the more you put somebody else before you, the more you think about their needs instead of your needs, the easier things will go, I think. So.
And, just have fun doing it. Don't work yourself to a point to where you're overworked and you're overwhelmed and you start to lose yourself. If you get to that point, pull back. Don't try to do it all at one time. Start out slow. It took him a few years to get to where he's at now. We're still trying to figure it all out.
We're living and learning. And
we are.
But if you guys have suggestions for videos, for live videos, or regular videos for that matter, but for live videos, come back to this video after it's posted to YouTube. You can rewatch it. Just go and comment below, or you can shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook at 731 Woodworks, or her at amy.outlaw on Instagram, and just give us some ideas that you want to see, because ultimately the channel is about giving the viewers what they want to see. And so it's something that can help you or benefit you in some way. We would rather make videos about that stuff than what we want to do. And so we're going to make obviously some projects coming up and stuff, but if you have ideas of stuff that could serve you better, give us a shout.
Thank y'all. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for
Super Chatters, thank you.
Yes, thank you to our Super Chatters. Thank y'all all for joining us tonight. We look forward to the next one.
Thank you.